Leesville, DeRidder, Fort Polk. Today's Country 105.7.
Football. Ready, break.
Football in America is a special game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
This is the Gridiron Gumbo Show. High school, college, and pro football talk. Live from the studios of Today's Country 105.7. The Gridiron Gumbo Show is being brought to you by Mid-South Forestry Equipment and Gina Choctaw Pines Casino. Now, let's talk football.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Gridiron Gumbo Show here on Today's Country 105.7, presented by Mid-South Forestry Equipment and Gina Choctaw Pines Casino. Sean Larken, Mike Holt, Derrick Lee with you. Fellas, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I can't complain.
Yeah, I guess if I did complain, no one would listen.
Exactly.
But if we did complain here, I guess we would have some listeners, technically. So either way, we're not going to complain. This is our 7th episode.
Wow.
Here. We just keep rolling right along already midway through October. That's crazy. Halloween will be here soon, and Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and then we'll just be doing this all over again next year. We have finished Week 6 in the high school football regular season. We are winding down on the home stretch, they say. This is Week 7. Again, starting to have to pay attention to the power ratings.
Things are getting serious.
Yeah, like this is, you don't really look at the power ratings in week 2 or 3,
No.
Or when in the NFL, like when you start seeing like the playoff picture, they'll post it like week 4.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But now it's starting to kind of matter in high school football. Week 7, you got 4 games left. You need to kind of start, you're getting into district. If you're not already in district, you're getting in there now. You need to start kind of really stacking up the wins and position yourself for a good playoff draw. But again, week 7 starts this Thursday. Just 4 more weeks in the regular season, and then playoffs and all that good stuff. Also, LSU gets another win this past weekend. Look, it wasn't pretty, but they get it done, and I think that's just kind of where they are right now. We'll talk about the way they're going to have to play this Saturday. If they play that way on offense this Saturday, it may not be good. Again, a kind of a wild week in college football this past week. Some more good games coming up in Week 8. And the Saints dropped to 1-5. We'll talk about the reason. It's not the quarterback. I'll just tell you that. And we'll recap Week 6, which there's some surprises. I don't think anybody's good in the NFL.
No.
I don't think anybody's good. I think it's just week to week. I know who's bad. The Jets are bad.
Yeah, the Ravens are bad.
The Ravens are bad. Dolphins are bad. But we don't know who's that much better than everyone else. I think Chiefs are until they're officially eliminated. Until they're officially eliminated, they're good. I know that probably for a fact too. But we know who's bad. We don't know who's good, but we know who's bad. Week 6 of the high school football season in the rear view. DeRidder opens district play with a thrilling 13-12 win over the Eunice Bobcats at home. We'll get Derrick's opinion on that one. Kind of got crazy there at the end. So, all it is, it's about winning.
Yeah.
You win. And
It don't have to be pretty.
Yeah, like we said, you want to win. A bad loss or a bad win is better than a good loss because there's no such thing as a good loss. Pickering wins homecoming night over Crescent City Christian 48-0. Crescent City Christian got beat 48-0 and then had to drive back 4 hours.
A little bit of revenge from last year.
Yes, they had to drive. Pickering made that drive last year, so they didn't have to this time, and they got to enjoy a 48-0 win. Kinder still undefeated. They go to South Beauregard and win 60-28. South Bow in that game was up 14-0, and when I got told that, I started thinking about last year's game, and I can guarantee you Coach Justin Reed did as well, and then he was having none of that. They win 60-28. Iowa defeats Leesville 33-7. Basile defeats Maryville 49-6. Oakdale was up on Menard looking for their first win, or the Warriors. They were up 14-10, I believe, in that game at some point, and then Menard comes back to win 22-20. That's going to set up a pretty good matchup with Kinder for district in a couple of weeks. And the game we had, Winfield 49, Rose Pine 28. Look, Rose Pine had 28 points all season going into Friday. They scored 28 on Friday, so there's the positive. They do drop to 0-6. Obviously, this is a results-based business. Nobody's happy about being 0-6, but the offense did look really good. There was just the problem, again, was big plays. They gave up big plays on defense. They actually took the lead first. I think we talked about it during the game. That was the first time they've scored first and taken a lead probably since week 10 of last year. So, the vibes were good on homecoming night. Opening drive, first play of the game went for 20 yards. They had a penalty that stalled the drive. They were forced to punt, but then they were able to get the ball back after forcing a punt on defense, and that's when they hit a couple of big plays. Brenham Cheney, a 20-plus yard catch. Barrett Cootie had another 10-plus, 15-plus yard run, and then Barrett was able to run it in from 8 yards out. So they took the lead with about 3 minutes left in the opening quarter. Got down at halftime 28-14. Look, they kept continuing to make big plays, but they also gave up big plays on defense. After they took the lead was 7-0. They gave up the lead in one play, a 66-yard run by Datavius Williams, and then Winfield went for 2, and they were able to take the lead right back 8-7. They gave up touchdown plays of 66 yards, 59 yards, 74 yards, 85 yards. So, you can kind of see what's happening here. It was just, if they didn't give up the big play, they were able to hang in there. Got down 28-14 at half. Got down as many as 42-14. And then they scored a couple of touchdowns in a row. Austin Lonsberry, a couple of nice catches, 35-yard touchdown. And then he had another one. There was a 4th and 9. They converted for 37 yards to Brenham Cheney. But it got to 42-28 with about 8 minutes left in the game. And they nearly recovered an onside kick to make it start to get a little interesting. However, right after the near onside recovery, Datavius Williams punches it in from 13 yards out, and that made it 49-28 with about 5.5 minutes left. Rosepine fumbled on the ensuing kickoff, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Like we said, they were able to move the ball, and I talked about it during the game. Look, they've been starting a freshman quarterback all year. Slate Gardner is a freshman, that never played varsity football before this, played junior high last year. That's how it goes. You don't see a whole lot of freshman quarterbacks starting in high school, correct?
And just hit the ground running.
Yeah, you pretty much here you go. Get out there, let's see what happens. And the schedule ain't been easy. You playing Westlake, Kinder, all those teams were combined one loss. Yeah, so you're going to have ups and downs. And we've been there for the majority of them, and I've also watched the other ones that I wasn't there for. I thought week 1 went really well, and I mentioned this on the broadcast. There was some regression the week before against Lake Arthur. It wasn't good, but man, heck of a game Friday night against Winfield. Threw the ball with confidence, made some great throws, and as a freshman, you're going to have mistakes get made, and you're going to have some tough plays here and there, or things aren't going to go your way. You just got to kind of just have a quick memory and just let it go and get back out there, and that's exactly what him and the rest of the offense did on Friday night, because they looked really good. They made some plays when they needed to make them to kind of keep them in the game. Just defensively, they gave up too many plays. Now, again, 0-6, but look, you want to keep that offensive momentum going up next week, but you got to take the 2-hour bus ride up to Mansfield, and the Wolverines a pretty good team, as they came down here last year and gave it to them pretty good. But after that game, then you get into district. You'll have 3 games left. So, maybe just get some momentum going. Don't lose what you gained on offense Friday night, this week. Because like we said, you got down in that game 42-14, and you come back and you're an onside kick away from having a chance to get it to 7 if you get the onside kick. But again, I thought there were a lot of things I enjoyed seeing as far as growth from Slay and then the rest of the offense too. And me and Coach Grande talked about it. When I was writing in my spotting boards, I texted Coach Gardner, hey, I know there's some injuries. Can you send me who we're going to have in there starting? And by the time I started correcting the guys that were in there, it was about 7 or 8 different names I had to switch out. So they were doing this with a lot of injuries on that side of the football too. So props to the offense. And look, everybody's going through injuries now, but you're doing this also with a freshman quarterback. So these guys that you've been practicing with, you've kind of started to build a rapport. And then now we've got to shuffle things around because a lot of our guys are hurt. So I think the guys that stepped in did a really good job, as did Slay, at quarterback as a freshman, just kind of chugging along. And you just got to think it's going to get better eventually, and it did look a little bit better on Friday night. So they'll be at Mansfield next week, and then they will start district play after that. Derrick, 13-12. Dragons hang on. They're back to 500 on the season, 1-0 in district play. Got a little late start the other night. We were here and Heard that there was a wreck, I believe, with one of the Eunice buses on the way. So y'all didn't start till what, about 7:45?
Yeah, just about. But thankfully, everybody was okay, and everybody got there
obviously
safely.
That was the most important thing,
right?
But we heard that, and we had no idea if there was like a wreck causing them not to get here.
Yeah.
But then it was with them. So because you said one bus got there, and y'all were thinking that's all they had brought was what, maybe 20 kids or
just about.
Yeah, and then
we see like 20 minutes later a bus would come with a marshal. So
the rest of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what's crazy is like, for that to happen, because you've got police escorts, on road games like you played. Y'all had so like for a wreck to happen, it's kind of got to be a little scary because you're pretty much in a controlled environment, but that just shows you like you're never. So Eunice on their way, already a lot of distractions. You kind of mentioned it. The way the game went early, it was kind of flat, right?
It was. I wouldn't say more flat. It was just more of a defensive battle. It was punt, turnover on down, punt. It was just more of who's gonna score first. Yeah,
and look, they wanted to have scoreless at 0, and the way it looked, it came down to a 2-point conversion. Eunice drove the length of the field, and take us through what happened there.
So I can't really describe what that Eunice had this unique version of the wing T offense that Jennings used to run.
Yeah, they run sort of a double wing and that group, like I was talking to Mike and you before, a lot of those guys, we did the game at Leesville 3 years ago. A lot of those guys were sophomores that started, especially quarterback Montana Brown. Like, he was a starter as a sophomore. They had a bunch of other guys. So, yeah, it's sort of like a wing T type deal.
Yeah, but they had a little spin on it. So it was when we when me and Mr. Mike first saw them practice it, we was like, okay, so this may be a little difficulty. But when they got into the offense, the DeRidder seemed like they was already at home with it. With every time they try to run the end around, they was there with it. But it was just nobody was producing points. We had a few missed PIs on DeRidder that we thankfully let slide until the last drive. It literally came down to if somebody just didn't have popcorn before the game,
right.
Not even before the game, at halftime.
Yeah, so they went for 2 instead of extra point, trying to win it, and
honestly, they didn't even try for extra point the whole game.
Theirs must not have been a kicker out there. You didn't see anybody warming up.
There was the quarterback was the kicker. He was just doing squib kicks the whole game.
Yeah. So and we talked about this a lot. It's a weapon to have because again, you're forced to go for 2 every time. And if you, like you said,
and it wasn't really successful.
You're scoreless at half, and then you're having to go for 2 when it's already hard enough to move the ball in the entirety of the game. So you're forced there to go for 2, and fortunately for DeRidder, they, Eunice didn't make a play, and they're now, back to 500. And again, we talk about the positioning for playoffs now. You can kind of look at it like you're either on the outside looking in of being in the playoffs, or you're right there on that line where you want to be at home, or do you want to take a 4-hour bus ride, or 2-hour bus ride.
And I know what it feels like to be on the road during a playoff game. It's not fun.
It ain't fun. No, my junior year we went to Evangel. That wasn't fun. It's far, and they were really good.
I was there when when Leesville played Warren Easton.
Yeah, that's real fun too,
2018?
wasn't it? Yeah. How fun was that?
That was in the rain too, wasn't it?
It was not fun.
Yeah, we went to Evangel, and then we lost a lot, and then we had to drive back, and that was far. And same way with Ouachita Christian my freshman year. We almost won that one. We went for 2 and missed it by a couple inches, defeating them top. I think they were like 6th in the state. Instead of kicking the extra point, we went for 2 and did get it. That bus ride back sucks. It's a lot more fun when you get to play at home, and that's kind of where DeRidder's at right now. They needed to win this one, and they did. Regardless of how it happens, you get it done because Eunice could have caught the 2-point conversion, and then you could have been 2 and 4, and then you could have been really desperate. But now that sets up what should be
a great game,
a really fun game for the 104th time.
Okay.
DeRidder and Leesville will lock it up on Friday night at Cecil Doyle Memorial Stadium, and they will battle. And look, we said it on this show last week. Leesville's in the point now where they've got to win out.
Yep.
They're 1-5. And obviously Iowa's a really good team. Like, they actually played really well against Iowa. You know, that game was 20-7 for the majority, and ended up losing. There's no shame in losing to the 4th-ranked team in the state in, you know, Division II. But now you're to a point where you're on the outside looking in, and they take 24 in select instead of 28. So you got to string together some wins. And the first one starts for them on Friday. And on the other side of it, you're looking at DeRidder, who is in a position to have a home playoff game. They want to stay there. And it's, you know, this starts with them winning on Friday. There's a lot at stake. Nothing more important than, obviously, the Hooper Trophy, which has been awarded since 1962. Again, they've been playing since 1910. But trophy didn't get here till 62. And that was back. DeRidder won the first one with the trophy, 12-0 back in 1962. But for the 104th meeting, these two will get together. That is a long time. One of the best rivalries in the state. And look, also, if you're DeRidder, you're trying to snap a 4-game losing streak in this thing. It has been since before COVID.
I think my junior year.
2019.
Yep.
Was when, see, he knows.
He remembers.
He remembers. Yeah. Like, we played in, you know, obviously, we had Pickering for the Big Dog Jug. It is no longer right now. Bring it back, please. If anyone listening has any kind of influence.
Maybe next year.
We lost our freshman and sophomore year. We did not lose our junior and senior year. We did not. I got the picture actually on my wall in my bedroom our senior year with the trophy, and we ate pizza, yes.
Yeah.
But I have that picture in my room still. Like, I ain't got a whole lot of them on the wall.
I got that one, okay.
I looked a lot skinnier and in shape back then. I wish I looked like that now. You can remember these things. You just told me the last time DeRidder beat Leesville was 2019. They didn't play in 20. After that, it's been all Leesville. However, other than last year, you know, last year was 62-35. Leesville, I think, still scoring.
Your first year here, I think we had a pretty high-scoring game. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. With the exception of last year, so I've been here now since 2021.
Yeah.
Every one of those games, regardless of who is good, who is that much better than the other, it has been close. I mean, the first year, like Mike said, 49-41. I remember DeRidder went onside kick, score onside kick. It was 14-0 before one of my friends texted me, did the game start early? And I said, no. He said, I just turned it on and it's 14-0. I said, I know. Like, DeRidder threw the kitchen sink at Leesville in that game in 21.
Ronnie Crosby and Xavier
I mean, they were running double reverses, and it almost, like, they ran a end around on that 4th down, and they just missed the exchange, or it looked pretty good. Leesville hung on in that one. Then 2022 was a blowout, Leesville 42-15, but 2023 came down to the last play of the game. Leesville had to make a stop in DeRidder, and like we said, last year was a blowout, but there have been times where both of these teams are really, really good. Then there's times where one of them's really bad and one of them's really good, and none of that matters. I hate the cliche. It's like you can throw the records out. You know, I hate because you hear that on every game. It's like throw the records out. No, because like one of the teams is really good, and then especially in college they say throw the records out. Like, I think it was Oregon State and Oregon played the other day, and you could throw the records out, and Oregon State was really bad, and they lost by 35, and then their coach got fired.
That's why they don't have them.
Exactly. Like, no. But you can't really throw them out because there have been times where I've went in thinking, well, DeRidder doesn't really have a chance in this one. I didn't think they did 2 years ago. And it came down to the last, you know, they had to make a stop. Leesville had to make a stop on the last play of the game, or else DeRidder would have won that game.
And we just talked about,
and they weren't as good as Leesville that year.
The implications in this game.
And now you raise the stakes because Leesville's to the point where they got to win out.
They got to.
And it starts Friday night against your bitter rival.
They're desperate.
Yeah, like they're going to be desperate, and like we said, DeRidder ain't won one of these in 6 years.
Yeah.
So they were pretty close a couple years ago. They want that trophy. Leesville don't want to give it up, and Leesville doesn't want to miss the playoffs.
No.
So
I don't know the last time they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say, when was the last time has Leesville missed the playoffs?
Under Robbie Causey, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they have under him. We'll have to get Mr. Green on that one, our research department head. You know, he knows a lot about what goes on at Leesville. You know, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
And like I said, you were able to rattle that off to me immediately. Like, this game is a lot of fun. Rivalry games in itself are fun. I mean, the schools, they'll get after it, and hopefully
stay safe.
Stay safe.
Yes.
Keep it clean. Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Don't be doing nothing illegal.
Yeah.
Like, everything should be in good fun.
I remember the last time they did it.
Didn't one year, Leesville's mascot get kidnapped or something?
No, they
Kidnapped like it's a costume.
It's not
like, there's not a person in there.
It's not the LSU Tiger.
Yeah, they're not like Tulane and letting Mike out. But that would be awesome if they did. Could you imagine if we get this conversation? Well, if I'm Leesville, I'm not going in a dungeon and getting a dragon. I'm sorry. Like, that thing breathes fire. You can shoot a cat with a tranquilizer dart, but dragons got scales.
Yeah. They breathe
fire.
Yeah.
You can't even get close to it because
it flies.
It'll charge. Yes, and it flies. So there will be no mascot stealing. But yeah, if they do some pranks and stuff, that would be fun.
Well, you were going to tell a story.
Yeah,
I think it was my sophomore year, I believe. DeRidder had spray painted the field. I think I still got the picture somewhere on my phone about they sprayed the field.
Oh no!
And they TP'd the front of the school.
That's not bad. Now, don't want to vandalize the field. So any listeners that have ties, don't
Please.
spray paint the fields. I'm down with toilet paper in school because there's a lot of lights around there.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I could drive by DeRidder tonight and see if anybody's there from 50 yards away.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
You're going to be checking when you go home now.
Yeah, and if they do, look, it's all in good fun. Like
I didn't see it.
I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see anybody down there. But that game Friday night should be a lot of fun. And like we said, Leesville's not record-wise where they want to be. And
I would expect a huge crowd, too, on both sides.
I do.
That game should be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it. We're going to have that one simulcast on our station here, Today's Country 105.7, so it'll be the game of the week, and we will have it on KROK 95.7, the station that believes in dragons.
Cool. Oh, so you going to be with me and Mr. Mike, too?
I will. I will be there.
Right.
Yeah. So it should be a lot of fun. Like we said, you played in this. Mike played in this way back. He's going to tell us when.
We haven't done this since 21.
We haven't. And like I said, the last time we did this was 2021, and that game ended up being awesome.
Yeah.
It was a blast. Again, it kind of came down to the last few minutes of the game. And I hope that's the way it is this week. And we'll get more into that game. We'll probably go on the air 15, 20 minutes before.
Earlier than we normally
Because there's a lot of
Yeah.
things with this, we'd like to bring up and talk about. But just kind of broad stroke the game. This is a game that DeRidder's going to have to keep in the low 20s and 30s. Like, you look at the time they've had a chance in this, other than the 49-41 game, which they ran all kind of trick plays. They were deep in the bag, onside kicks. They had a kickoff return. Yeah, they went kickoff return, onside kick, touchdown.
See, the thing is that between 21 and now, the difference is that Leesville became more pass heavy.
Yes.
And so with the DeRidder corners, they have two lengthy and long corners which can match with
yeah, Mike.
The
last time they played last year, Mike torched them. I think he had 3. I was looking at the box score last night, and I think it was 3, which I've got it written down. But you look at these scores.
They probably going to play Javon, or they probably going to play Javon.
Yeah,
Mike.
the last time they won it, it was 24-21.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they didn't win the 49-41 game in 21, but they were in it, special teams. But then the game they had a chance to win, on the last play, it was 28-22.
Yeah.
Other than that, they've given up 49, 42, 62. DeRidder can play defense. I just think that's the way they're going to have to win the game, is to stop those guys at receiver. And
if not, then go blow for blow.
Yeah, and that means to do that, you're going to have to run some trick plays. You're going to have to steal a possession, on an onside kick. You're going to have to score on special teams. Like, those are the things they did in that game in 21. If not, they're going to have to really, bear down on defense and kind of, muck the game up a little bit, like slow it down, because Leesville's going to go. Like, they're going to throw the ball a lot, and why wouldn't you? I mean, they can do it. And if DeRidder's up to the challenge, this could be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this one since we kind of had it in the works, so it should be a lot of fun. I know you've played in this. And when we get on pregame, you're probably going to get fired up and start kind of having those flashbacks and whatnot.
Maybe want to put a jersey on and go back out there.
You want to go out there, like you can probably get into some pregame.
He's like, no.
Yeah, see, that's me. Like, you can ask me, I'll be like, absolutely
I'm going to twist
not.
an ankle and I'm going to be done for the day.
That's what, yeah, it'll be like.
You'll just stay on the ground.
Yeah, well, that's what, like I was talking to Coach Kiley, during Friday night's game at halftime. By the way, we always appreciate having him.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned the fact that, homecoming week, they have the Powder Puff game and all this. And I said, the one thing that I've been thinking about and had an idea of just hasn't come to fruition because, for one, obviously I do this every week and there's other things involved. It's a lot of planning, and I don't have time to plan for that. But I would get it in the right person's ears having an alumni game, like an alumni flag game, during the week. For anybody who wants to come, football players and do it. But then I started thinking, like, I'm a couple of series, and then I'd probably pull a hamstring and be over.
You need Dr. Chapman.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a helmet on, so I can't tap my helmet, but I'd be tapping the top of my head like somebody's got to get me because I can't go both ways. We're good for like a burst here, and then I'll need about 30 minutes, and then we could go again. Yeah. But that's what would happen to me if I went out there. But it should be a lot of fun. Like I said, we're going to go on air probably about 15, 20 minutes before the kickoff, kind of set the stage and get the feel of everything. It should be a lot of fun. Again, Friday night at Cecil Doyle Memorial Stadium for the 104th time. Leesville DeRidder will lock up and battle for the Hooper Trophy. Again, that is not the 104th Hooper Trophy game, 104th rivalry game. So I'm looking forward to it. Leesville trying to make it 5 in a row. DeRidder trying to win one for the first time since 2019. Like I said, that one will be simulcast right here on our station and KROK 95.7, the station that believes in dragons. So they're going to be believing in dragons. I guess we'll stay neutral, Mike. Yeah. Derrick, we got a Leesville guy, we'll have a DeRidder guy, and it's just me hoping for a lot of fun. You're like in the middle somewhere. Yeah, I'll just be calling the game, hoping we get a game that comes down to the last possession or whatever. Should be a lot of fun. A couple games on Thursday night. Kinder looking to stay unbeaten. They'll head to Oakdale. That one's Thursday. Vinton is traveling to Pickering, so Pickering back at home. That game also on Thursday. Then Friday, Southbow goes to Jennings. Bolton Academy at East Bow. Rose Pine again makes the trip up to Mansfield. Maryville and Oberlin locking up for a district matchup. And then, like we said, Friday night, our game of the week, Leesville at DeRidder. Should be a blast with me, Derek, and Mr. Isles. We'll take a break, come back, talk some college football. LSU gets a win. They travel to Vandy next week. We'll do that and more. It's the Gridiron Gumbo Show on today's Country 105.7.
The game dates back to the 1900s. When you say Leesville DeRidder, nothing else needs to be said. It's the battle for the Hooper Trophy Friday night as the DeRidder Dragons host the Leesville Wampus Cats. Join Sean Larken, Mike Isles, and Derrick Lee Jr. for the call of the game. The high school football game of the week is brought to you in part by Wagon Master, Double D's, and Cecil's, Popeyes, Sabine State Bank, Vernon Parish Sheriff's Department, the Catfish Hut, Rose Pine Pharmacy, Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, Charleston Gas, David Heyman State Farm, State Senator Mike Reese. It's the battle for the Hooper Trophy. It's Leesville. It's DeRidder. Friday night. It's the high school football game of the week on today's Country 105.7. Mid-South Forestry Equipment in Manny, formerly Patrick Miller Tractor, would like you to know that we're still providing the same great service that our customers have come to depend on. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to the community is still the same. We look forward to continuing to service all your Tiger Cat, Kubota, Land Pride, and Bad Boy needs. Stop in and say hi or give us a call at 318-256-5686 for more information. That's Mid-South Forestry Equipment in Manny, formerly Patrick Miller Tractor.
Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, your place for fun.
Looking for some excitement? Come push our buttons and get paid.
Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, your place for fun.
Must be 21.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Gumbo Show on today's Country 105.7, presented by Mid-South Forestry Equipment and Gina Choctaw Pines Casino. Sean Larken, Derrick Lee, Mike Holt with you. We've talked high school, now on to college football, where LSU wins at home. They are now 5-1. They defeat South Carolina 20-10. Defense continues to dominate. Game started out kind of sluggish, I guess you could say. LSU just didn't really get going on offense. They moved it, but some mistakes in the red zone. Look, they ran the ball well. Trey'Dez Green is a cheat code. We knew that, though. We knew that week one, when he was getting pass interference every time they threw him the ball. But, look, he goes for 119 yards on 8 receptions and a touchdown. I don't have the exact year, but I think that is the first 100-yard tight end receiving performance. I don't know if this is true. I didn't write it down. That's on me, but I think 1998.
How many yards he had exactly?
He had 119 on 8 catches. They just kept throwing. They could stop him. Which, that's exactly what happened in the Clemson game, but they just tackled him. And they didn't want him to catch it. So I think I'll correct myself next week. I'll put a note down. But I think 1998, which is insane. That was way longer than I thought it would be. I mean, you think about the tight ends. LSU's had a decent run of tight ends last year. Yeah. Mason Taylor, as good as anyone they've ever had. He never had 100. Thaddeus Moss in 19. Think about the 19 team. Everybody was catching it for 100 yards.
He didn't play well in the NFL, though.
No, he didn't. And neither did Terrace Marshall. But sometimes
we took both of them.
Sometimes that's also true. Sometimes that's circumstance, though. Right situation. Yeah. But think about the 19 team. Thaddeus Moss made some plays. He never went for 100. Look, you find Trey'Dez, he's 6'7". There ain't a whole lot of guys that are going to be able to defend that.
That would have been fun to be doing Gridiron Gumbo back in 19.
I'll tell you what was really fun.
It would have been great.
It was me being the KLSU sports director.
Oh, yeah.
And going in on Sunday mornings and recapping them winning by 100 and that team being awesome. That was fun. But, yeah, that 19 team could score it. This team is – you think about the games that we've complained on here about not being able to run the ball. They actually ran the ball well. They had 6 yards of carry. Garrett Nussmeier even tucked it one time and went for 20 plus. Like he looked like he got shot in the ankle one time, but he took off.
Yeah, the way he come up.
Yeah, like he kind of like limped about halfway, like a sniper got him or something. Like he was in a full sprint and then just kind of started limping and then fell down. But we say that this team, or we've said, this team defensively is good enough to win a championship. Yeah. I think this team is good enough. They just haven't been able to put it all together on offense. Kyle Parker had a great game, 5 for 75 and a touchdown. He's just kind of the forgotten guy in that offense, receiver-wise. You've had Nick Anderson transferred in from OU. He's kind of been a disappointment. Barryon Brown is good. I just think they've not been able to utilize him like they should. Chris Hilton's, it's been a roller coaster ever since last year. And Aaron Anderson, your best receiver, has been hurt for the last few weeks. But Kyle Parker's been there. He was a factor last year in some of those games. I remember he had the touchdown against UCLA last year that was a really good catch, contested catch. But they've just not been able to put it together. Last week or Saturday, they get a turnover, they fumble on the one. Juwan Johnson's fumbled a couple of times this year. That's an issue. That's got to be fixed. Garrett Nussmeier, 2 interceptions. Before that first one, there was a drop.
Yeah.
But then you throw the first one. The second one's inexcusable because it happens in the red zone, and you misread on the RPO. You misread the safety. You read the guy off the edge blitzing. The reads the safety. He throws the interception right to safety. Safety don't move. That's the frustrating part is the mistakes and the turnovers in the red zone. The fumble was on the goal line. Another chance to get points. They had a play late in the game where they had first and goal on the 1, and they couldn't score. They kicked a field goal to make it 20-10. They got it on inside the 1. Those are the things that keep them from being a great team. We've said it even in the NFL, but we've said it in college. There's no great team in college. It's right there for the taking if LSU wants it. It's right there for anybody. I mean, maybe Ohio State's good. I don't know. They haven't played anybody since week 1. But it is right there if LSU wants to take it. And all it is correcting mistakes, not turning the ball over in the red zone. And then when you put a game together like that, you're going to be elite. Because
and
defense,
you're getting to the point in your schedule, too.
Yeah.
Where you need a win.
Yeah, and you can't – I walked out, after the game. I was, my thoughts were if they play like this next week, they're going to get beat. Because now you go on the road to Vanderbilt. This ain't your same Vanderbilt that, as we know for the last 2 years, it ain't the same old Vanderbilt.
No.
You're not going to go there. It's not going to be 90% LSU fans like it was in 2019 when you went and the whole stadium was purple and it was at 11 a.m. and you blasted them because they couldn't stop you. No, it's not going to be like that because this is a totally different Vanderbilt team. They're well coached. The quarterback has no fear whatsoever. And a fun fact, this Vanderbilt team is, they're ranked, obviously, they're ranked 17th now. They lost at Bama on the road, but again, turnovers in the red zone on the road is the reason they lost the game. LSU's 10th. Vanderbilt has played 77 games versus top 10 teams since 1978. The LSU game Saturday will be the first time that Vanderbilt is favored in one of those games. That just tells you this ain't the same old Vanderbilt.
No.
You're not going to go in there and run them over.
Yeah.
You're going to have to punch those in from the 1 yard line. You're going to have to get 6 points instead of no points, or take 3 points instead of no points.
Like Kellen Moore.
Downs.
Yeah, convert on fourth downs, but converting in the red zone on the road, period. The red zone period is we'll get to in the NFL. Scoring in the red zone is where you make your money. That is where you make money in the game of football. Scoring in the red zone. Anybody can score on an 80-yard play.
And again, we know Kellen Moore will take the points.
That's fine, but you can't take the points if you don't have the football.
No.
You throw an incompletion on third down, you can line up and kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Can't do that if you throw it to the other team. That can't happen Saturday.
Yeah.
LSU's this close to putting something together on offense to maybe taking that next step because they're going to have to do it. The schedule don't get any easier. You got one game on the schedule that I know for a fact LSU's going to win the rest of the way, and it's Western Kentucky at home.
They may lose that.
They're not going to lose that game. Western Kentucky's probably not going to score. But
You'd be surprised.
We don't know if they're going to win the other ones. I can't guarantee they're going to go win this game Saturday.
No.
I can't tell you they're going to go beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. They may not go to Norman last game of the year. Arkansas comes in. They gave Tennessee all they wanted last Saturday.
A&M and Baton Rouge.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There is not another game on this schedule that I can say they're going to win except for one, with the way the offense is kind of played.
Yeah.
Defensively, yes, they're going to be fine. If they put it together, though, on Saturday, they can win this game. And they're going to win this game if they do if they convert those plays that they missed on against South Carolina, they will win the game, and they might win the game by double digits. However, it's not going to be as easy as you would think it would be because if you haven't watched Vanderbilt, it ain't the same Vanderbilt. It's not. I told you last week on the show, they lost at Alabama, but I came away way more impressed with the way they played, knowing they turned it over twice, that they were still in the game. Because the old Vandy, when Alabama plays them, you turn it over a couple times, you lose by 30. But no, they were all in it until the last drive of the game.
Does that say more about Vanderbilt or does that say more about Alabama?
No, I think it says more about Vanderbilt because old Vanderbilt gets blown out.
Yeah.
They were able to hang in there knowing they turned it over.
They didn't give up.
They didn't give up. They were like, okay, well, let's just regroup because it's a possession, can't get it back. And they got it back and had a chance, competed the whole way. Because the other teams would just get blasted. And obviously Nick Saban's on that sideline. And who didn't get blasted if you turned it over a couple times? More often times than not, you got beat. But no, this is a Vanderbilt. And this is a Vanderbilt team that's got one loss. Their one loss was just 2 weeks ago on the road at Tuscaloosa. You can't find any other losses. In the country, if you look at resumes of one-loss teams, losing at Alabama probably stacks up better than anybody else's one loss.
Yeah.
It's better than ours, to be honest. But they're playing for something still. This isn't, we're out of it. They win this game, you're right back in the playoff conversation at Vanderbilt, of all places. So, it's a game where LSU can't go in. We've been talking about it for a few weeks. It's at 11 a.m.
ABC, right?
It'll be on ABC, but man, you got to go through walkthroughs at 8 o'clock.
That's crazy.
I don't get up I don't do well early, okay? I'm definitely not out there stretching and running early at 8 o'clock.
No.
I just can't. But that's what LSU's going to have to do. They're going to have to go out there and bring energy, probably create their own energy.
Yeah.
Because that's tough for a road team. 11 o'clock is, like I said, it doesn't start at 11. You're starting at 6:30, 7, and having to lock in. LSU's going to have to be focused. They're going to have to limit the mistakes and limit the turnovers, and then I think they will have a chance to win this game. But again, Saturday at 11 on ABC. They have also announced yesterday that the A&M game next week at home will be at night. So biggest game of the year,
That's
biggest home game of the
huge.
year,
Yeah.
obviously. But you got to win this one.
Does A&M play this week? Are they?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Actually, other notable games from Week 7, like we said, it was a crazy week. We learned a lot about some teams.
Indiana.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Indiana goes to Autzen and beats Oregon 30-20. And in a game where Oregon had the lead once, and that was after Indiana kicked a field goal, and then Oregon went up 7-3. They pretty much just beat them. Like, they beat them. We've talked about Oregon really good. They went to Penn State, which that doesn't matter anymore. But Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. They were last year. There ain't a whole lot of teams just go over there to win. Autzen Stadium is, when I was a kid playing NCAA, it was always like one of the top 3 shaky, stadium atmosphere games on the PlayStation. Yeah. It's tough to win there. It's loud.
Yeah.
And they're good. Indiana went there, and there was no issue. And look, that could be a product of today's college football, where just the playing field's that much more level.
Yeah.
But I find it hard to argue that there isn't a better coached team than Indiana. Because if you go look at the rankings, the composite player rankings, their transfers coming in, their recruiting, that's not a roster of a Georgia or an Alabama or an LSU even. That's Indiana, guys. Like, they're not supposed to care about anything until about next month when basketball starts.
Yeah.
That's the problem with NIL.
Yeah, but even that, Kirk Cinetti brought all of his guys from James Madison last year. James Madison ain't just rolling 4 and 5 stars in there. So you gotta
give us some props.
Gotta give him props for being just the way he coaches, and if you listen to him talk and the confidence, that guy. That guy could convince me they're the best team in the country. I'll believe it, because he told us at the beginning of the year that this team may be better than last year's team that made the playoff. And whatever you thought about their schedule last year, they lost the only game on it that mattered, and then they got beat in the playoff. Yeah, that's fine, but you can only play your schedule. And he said, well, this team's better than that team, and that, what does that mean to us? Like, nothing, because we don't know what that means. We saw them, but man, to go and win that game there, they've got an argument to have the best win in college football this year on the road there. And look, they're in it for the long haul, because that schedule for the Big Ten, there's not that much left on it. They go to Penn State, but like we said, does that even matter anymore?
That's a mess.
Other than that, they might roll right along to the Big Ten title game. And then if your only losses in that, well, it's probably to Ohio State or possibly Oregon again, then you're in the playoff.
That'd be a hell of a game, Indiana and Ohio State.
Yeah, because that's the one, which if his team he thinks is better, which they got to be more confident at this point. I can't wait for that one. But again, long way to go. But I just think that team's for real. We even texted in the group well, maybe Indiana's for real, because they go over there.
I seen the game when I was down there at LSU. I seen the game on TV. It was 10-10. I was like,
that's what I said. And
I was like,
the worst part is it was 10-10, and Oregon had the ball in field goal range. I turn away. I don't know what happened. They must have threw an interception or something.
I don't know.
But then Indiana goes and takes the lead at half, and I'm thinking, I don't even know what happened. Oregon was in field goal range. So whatever they were doing, mistakes, Indiana on the road capitalizing on those mistakes. And like I said, they're for real. And then another game, obviously we talked on here last week about Missouri and Alabama. I still think Missouri's a really good team, but Alabama just continues to stack these wins.
Since that loss to Florida State.
They looked awful against Florida State.
And then Florida State's looked awful.
Florida State's lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
They lost again this week. But they go to Georgia. They win that one. Then they go back home and beat Vanderbilt in a game that had a lot of stakes from the year before. And then you go play at 11 o'clock. And I don't know if y'all watched the Missouri-Alabama game, but the first drive of that game, Missouri looked like the best team in the world. The ball didn't touch the ground. 6 plays, touchdown, boom. I was thinking, okay, well, then they get on defense, and there's a third down. They have a taunting penalty. They just stand over the guy for like 2 seconds, and that extends the drive. They had a roughing the passer, extended the drive again. But Alabama just kind of took over the game. Missouri gets a turnover in the second half, has a chance to win it. Late throws an interception and loses by 3. So Alabama just continues to stack these wins up, and like we said, nobody's very good. It's probably going to end up Alabama winning the whole thing again and just make our lives miserable because they're lucky, and that's just what they do.
We're never going to hear the end of it. Then.
No, we're not.
No.
And that's what it's shaping up to be because they keep winning these games.
But Mike, to answer your question, Texas A&M is in action tonight this weekend. They play Arkansas.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
yeah.
wait, hold on. I think I wrote that down. I do. I had that on our pick'ems, guys. My bad.
Right.
That is, and we will be picking that game here in a little while.
Right.
Yeah. So Alabama just continues, and again, Missouri. Fun fact I read today, and I told you this before. I didn't realize this. Missouri has traveled 0 miles this year for games. They have played at home every week and had a bye.
How?
I didn't realize that. They do have to fuel up the airplane this week.
How do
though.
they manage that?
I don't know, man. That's a wild schedule because even LSU has
I feel like
played.
that's great. I feel like that's great for them.
It is,
Yeah.
but now you think about that schedule's got to be like backloaded on the road. Like you're about to be on the road for like 3 of your last games, probably, which would suck. But
depending on where you got to go.
Yeah, but think about all those beginning games. It's hot. Like you don't get like a game where the weather's cool. At home, you just been in 90, 95 degree weather all season, and it's like, well, see you at Christmas, I guess.
Would you rather be at home in 95 degree weather where you just go home and just take a shower, or you gotta wait, or you want to be on the road where you gotta wait?
Well,
you gotta wait. You all stinky.
That's true.
Like y'all in the Manning
talking,
press box.
Are you talking about like us personally? Yeah, because I did not like having to drive back an hour in the Manning press box. No, I would rather be at Rose Pine because then I could complain to someone that I know and get it fixed immediately.
Or DeRidder, maybe.
Yeah, or DeRidder. Like, we would have that fixed immediately. Yes, I would rather be at home. You're right.
Like, when I say he was mad, like, he called me after the game. He's like,
I'll tell you what, the things I said to Mike on the way back from that Manning game cannot be said on this air because we will be fined by the FCC and I won't be here anymore.
No.
Another game that I was kind of shocked at the result was the Red River rivalry. Look, I thought John Mateer, look, this guy had hand surgery 17 days from the playing date of Saturday to when he had surgery. We were told he was going to miss like 3 months, 12.
He missed like 17 days.
He missed 17 days.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have played, guys.
No.
He's on that. He was. You remember when Baker Mayfield tore his labrum in his shoulder, and he still continued to play.
Yeah, with the Browns.
Yeah,
like he was the reason they lost that game. They lost the game because he was a detriment to the team, and we didn't mention it then because I didn't know if he was going to play. They were like, "Oh, he's in." Saturday they're like, "He's ready to go," but you could tell like he wasn't ready. But what this does for Oklahoma, if they lose this game without him, if it's a close game,
okay, you can.
The committee's not going to hold that against you because he didn't play and you still competed. But the fact that he played and you lost by 17 and he wasn't very good, there is no what if. Like, what if he didn't play?
But it's the same thing with Gus when he was injured with his torso.
Yeah.
The reason why they was losing was questioning, is it because of him?
Yeah, exactly. But LSU was still winning those games at first, right?
Yeah.
And then you lose the Ole Miss game, and then the question gets even bigger. But with Mateer, like you could see what else you could have done. Again, is if Nussmeier doesn't play, there's that what if factor. Like, well, what if he does play? We're not going to hold that against you because he didn't play. But there was none there because Mateer played it, and they had a couple of times where you would just watch and he would throw it into triple coverage, and it's like, what is he doing? Like, this guy's clearly not right. And I don't even think Texas's offense played very well.
Yeah.
They played well enough. Like, Arch didn't just light it up. But
you still don't think they're very good. Like,
defensively, we knew they were decent.
Yeah.
They scored on a punt return. Oklahoma just couldn't do anything. And now you kind of put your season in jeopardy losing that game, as opposed to if you would have set him again and lost, you would have been fine. Because, they would have taken that into account. Oh, we lost the game because he didn't play. But you're going to go to Alabama in a couple of weeks.
Is he going to play?
That's the thing. But even if he plays, what if you lose?
You got to host LSU.
You got LSU last on your schedule. Like, you go to South Carolina this week. So there's a lot that you kind of changed the perception of your season with him playing and just playing horribly. Like, and I told y'all a couple of weeks into the season that I thought he could win the Heisman. He was the Heisman favorite. And then But I also said if he stays on the field, because they put the offense through him, like they put a lot on him, and then he gets hurt, and unfortunately, he doesn't play well the other day, and that cost him the game. Like him playing cost Oklahoma the game Saturday, and look, good for Texas, because that would have been a bad loss for them too. I mean, they would have they're back in the rankings here. Georgia and Auburn. Georgia goes on the road, gets a win. Again, Auburn was going up 17-0. They were up 10-0, going up 17. Ran a goal line play. They don't call it a touchdown, but on the same play, Georgia punches the ball out before it goes across the plane. Or in the NFL, you just touch the line.
Yeah.
Well, it touched the line, but they punch it out. Georgia guy recovers it and runs it all the way back. Problem is, they blew it dead, which you're not supposed to do. So instead of it being Auburn 17-0 or Georgia 10-7
or
10-6, pending the extra point, because the guy ran it all the way back. Like, he was on the pile, just grabbed the ball and took off running, and they blew it dead. So it was neither, just a horribly officiated game.
You're supposed to let the play finish out.
Yeah,
then again,
that's what you're supposed to do.
But then again, as a defensive player, you're not really going to think, let me see if the play's dead. You just go.
He took off because the play shouldn't have been blown dead. The ball was out.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a poorly officiated game. There was a video you can go look. Kirby Smart got credited without a timeout. He was calling timeout. They gave it to him. He said, I wasn't calling timeout, I was clapping. And he was clearly calling timeout. They didn't call delay game. Gave him a free timeout.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. There was a lot going on in that game. But Auburn, again, I continue to say it, they might be the best team in the country if they could score. And they just can't, because they went up 10-0, was going in for 17, lose the game 20-10. Biggest news of the weekend, however, we talked about it. We joke about Penn State a lot.
And the whiteout.
In the whiteout. They lose to the worst Power 4 team in the country last week. They lose to Oregon a couple of weeks before that.
UCLA.
Yeah. Well, UCLA, that's the worst Power 4 team.
Yeah.
The winless. But then they go home, and they're a 20-point favorite against Northwestern. Not Northwestern State, Northwestern, the Big Ten school, and they lose.
And that's why James Franklin don't have his job.
And then James Franklin gets fired.
But he got generational wealth.
Yeah.
But guys, if we all have aspirations and dreams, we should grow up to be a fired Power 4 coach. Not a good one. We just need to be good enough.
Just good enough
to get fired.
Get that buyout.
Because that buyout, guys.
Yeah.
Look, we joke about A&M all the time. They've won one championship in their entire school's existence, and it was, I think, an equestrian horse things, horse riding, jumping over stables. That's it. I think that's the only one they've won. But they are still the best at something.
Yep.
Because James Franklin's buyout at $49 million from Penn State is still only the second biggest buyout in college football history, behind Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher, $76 million.
And that's why he's not coaching right now.
No, but did you see him? I think it was the Miami-Florida State game a couple weeks ago. He was on the little pregame show.
No.
I guess SEC Nation might have went. Or no, they wouldn't have went because it was the ACC had a show.
Yeah.
That he went back for the first time, and he was very emotional and started crying. Actually, it was because he hadn't been back since, and they did a little honor thing for him at halftime, and I think it was maybe the 2013 team, because I think Jameis might have been there too, but so A&M, you are first at something else, and it's biggest buyout in college football history. Jimbo Fisher, $76 million. Again, James Franklin at Penn State, and you're going to start seeing that a lot now.
Yeah.
If these big conferences, a lot of money in them. If you're a team that is a championship expectation, like Penn State was, they were in the playoff last year. They were in the semifinal. You lose 3 games this early, they'll just. Let's go. There's enough money there.
Yeah, money's no object.
It's not an issue anymore. But James Franklin, great coach, made Vanderbilt relevant. Yep. Obviously before this stint, he was the best coach Vanderbilt's ever had. Goes there, did a lot to get that program back to what it was after the Paterno and the Sandusky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's done well. He just can't win the big one. Yeah. And you can't lose.
That cost him. Well, losing by 20 when you're favored by 20.
You can't be favored by 21 in multiple games and lose them. They're the first team to ever do that. Back-to-back games by 20 points.
Because I thought after losing to UCLA, I was like, well,
the seat was warming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time ever a team that was a 20-plus point favorite loses back-to-back times. And look, their aspirations for a title are gone.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see. A lot of names are going to be brought up. We'll see who it is, but that's a job that's going to be open, and it's going to be a pretty good one. We'll take one more break, come back with the NFL, and do our picks. It's the Gridiron Gumbo Show on today's Country 105.7.
The game dates back to the 1900s. When you say Leesville, DeRidder, nothing else needs to be said. It's the battle for the Hooper Trophy Friday night as the DeRidder Dragons host the Leesville Wampus Cats. Join Sean Larken, Mike Isles, and Derrick Lee Jr. for the call of the game. The high school football game of the week is brought to you in part by Representative Chuck Owen, McKee Agency, Barksdale Federal Credit Union, Thrifty Way Pharmacy, Acadian Ambulance, Sabine River Authority, Hickory Smokehouse, Rethink Title, Weaver Motors, Kirbyville, Vernon Parish Community Health Center, Champion Homes, Benoit Motors, West Louisiana Dental. It's the battle for the Hooper Trophy. It's Leesville. It's DeRidder. Friday night. It's the high school football game of the week on today's Country 105.7. Mid-South Forestry Equipment in Manny, formerly Patrick Miller Tractor, would like you to know that we're still providing the same great service that our customers have come to depend on. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to the community is still the same. We look forward to continuing to service all your Tiger Cat, Kubota, Land Pride, and Bad Boy needs. Stop in and say hi or give us a call at 318-256-5686 for more information. That's Mid-South Forestry Equipment in Manny, formerly Patrick Miller Tractor.
Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, your place for fun.
Looking for some excitement? Come push our buttons and get paid.
Gina Choctaw Pines Casino, your place for fun.
Must be 21.
Gridiron Gumbo Show on today's Country 105.7. Take that back. A&M's won a couple more. They won a few national
It doesn't
championships,
matter.
but who cares?
Like the Rock said,
But they are three-time equestrian national champions. I did want to emphasize.
Equestrian.
Yeah, riding the horses. They won, I think, men's golf, but whatever. They're still, that's neither here nor there. Saints are 1-5. They drop a game to the Patriots, and
players don't want to make plays.
Mike, it's so frustrating because, I know this team's wasn't going to be good, but with the exception of one game, they have been in every single one, and it's been one or two plays. Week 1, Juwan Johnson's got to catch the ball, and we're going to see if we win the game. Going for an extra point or a 2-point.
Yeah, you miss field goals or
you miss a field goal here and there. In week 2, then instead of having to kick a field goal for the win, you're having to go for a touchdown, so you don't get it.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, you're playing. You beat the Giants because you did make some plays.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, you've got opportunities to score a touchdown on a 35-yard dime from Radler that just comes down and perfect throw. You can't catch it, and then you have the ball with a chance to take the lead late with 3 minutes left. First down, Juwan Johnson fumbles.
Yeah.
Guys, the difference and I told you this before the game or before the show, and then I said this to a couple of people. If you turned on the Monday night game last night between the Falcons and the Bills, there is one reason that the Falcons won that game. It's because Bijan Robinson was the best player on the field last night. If you have a guy like that, it doesn't matter what defense they're in.
Rico Dowdle.
There you go. Rico Dowdle. You saw what he did Sunday if you watched the Cowboys and the Panthers.
Nobody watched that game.
You probably didn't. Actually, you were in this market, you did, because it was on Fox. They had the doubleheader was Cowboys, Panthers, Saints, Patriots. But last night, Bijan Robinson, they couldn't stop him. The Bills couldn't stop him. The Saints did the same thing against the Bills 2 weeks ago, except they didn't have a guy that could just break one open and take over the game. That's the difference in this team. If you want to know, because there ain't a whole lot of difference in the NFL between each team.
No.
Like, there's a 3 or 4 possessions a game that decide who's really, really good and who's not. That's why that 3/4 of the league is mediocre and finishes around 500. And you got your really bad ones, and then you got your really good ones, and your lucky ones. Because you got to be good, but you got to be lucky too. Like everything's got to happen. But it's just Spencer Rattler's a 5th-round draft pick. I've seen too many people say that quarterback's the issue on this team. There's an argument that Spencer Rattler's been the best player on this team. And I know that's not saying much because they're 1-5.
But a quarterback is not the problem.
Quarterback ain't been the problem on this team. Spencer Rattler has made plenty of plays. He is a 5th-round draft pick in a class that had Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, well, that was this year's class. But, yeah, last year's rookie class. Think about all the quarterbacks in that class, and you got this guy in the 5th round. I'm getting pretty good value out of what I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay, it's much better than it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is somebody's got to help the dude out.
Make a play.
You think your first-round draft pick from a few ago, Chris Olave from wide receiver Michael Thomas. You could go back to Ted Ginn from there, even though he wasn't he's just a stretch guy, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah.
We could just rattle off the Ohio State guys. But we can't make a play like that. We can't go make a play in a game and turn a game. And this guy was a first-round pick. We picked up his option, which means he's in a contract year. Juwan Johnson, just this May, 3-year, $10 million a year extension, putting the ball on the ground, can't catch the ball week 1. Somebody has to make a play for this guy.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. And then you got a Dennis Allen revenge game this week in Chicago. They had a big win last night over Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Somebody's got to make a play.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be better. We'll do our picks and then roll out of here. It was a pathetic effort last week. We've all finished under 500. I was 9-10. Derrick, you were 9-10. Mike 8-11. Mike, you were 7-3 in college, but just an all-time performance in the NFL. A 1-8.
Oh.
Favorites in college 7-3. Missouri was plus 3.5. They covered. Indiana and Colorado, the other 2 underdogs, won outright. Week 6, though, in the NFL, underdogs went 6-3. Giants, Panthers, Steelers, Falcons, and Bears all won. Your boy was on those Giants, if you don't remember. I was the only one.
You were.
But again, that NFL's week to week. I had a poor performance. This is by far my best. Good games in college, though. We'll roll right through these. Nebraska's at Minnesota. Minnesota's an 8.5-point underdog at home. I'll take the Gophers.
I'll take the Gophers.
Yeah.
All 3 on them. South Carolina hosting Oklahoma. The Gamecocks are a 5.5-point dog. I'm going to go ahead and take South Carolina in that one. Oklahoma's got to travel and pick up the pieces.
I'm going to take the Gamecocks.
Yeah.
All right. A&M. We said I didn't know if they were playing, and I even wrote down this thing right before I got here. They're going to Arkansas, 7.5. I'm going to take Arkansas on this one. They look good at Tennessee. They have a chance to win.
I'm going to take A&M.
Yeah, A&M.
Ole Miss is at Georgia. This one should be a lot of fun. Georgia is a 7.5-point favorite against Ole Miss. Highest-ranked game. Ole Miss dragged Georgia last year. I don't know if y'all remember that game. They beat them by 20.
I'm taking the Rebels.
Yeah.
Yep, I like the Rebels to cover this game, too. I like the Dogs, but I don't know if they're that good. I won't do the Texas Tech Arizona State game because I still don't know about the quarterback play. Texas goes on the road against Kentucky. Kentucky's a 12.5-point favorite. Or underdog, sorry.
I'm taking Texas.
Texas. Yeah, I'm going to just have to be contrarian and take Kentucky. Alabama and Tennessee. Alabama's a 7.5-point favorite over the Vols.
Where is that at?
Alabama.
I like Alabama.
Yeah.
I'll go Tennessee. I don't like it, but I'll take them. Notre Dame against USC. USC hammered Michigan last week. Notre Dame is an 8.5-point favorite in this game.
Notre Dame.
I think Notre Dame, too. By the way, Notre Dame is 13. Why? Oh. Why are they 13th? Remember they were so low earlier a couple weeks ago. We were like, they shouldn't be there. Yeah. They're back in the playoff hunt, guys. Missouri is at Auburn. Their first road game. They're having to fill up the airplane. Auburn is a 1.5-point underdog.
I'm going with Auburn.
I'll take Mizzou. I got to catch y'all. I got to catch you guys. LSU's at Vandy. Vandy's a 2.5-point favorite.
I'm taking the Tigers.
I got Vandy.
I do, too. I'm taking Vanderbilt. LSU can't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Thursday night, Steelers, Bengals. Bengals are a 5.5-point underdog. Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, the geriatrics, getting after it. They're both 40.
Like their combined age like 82.
82 or 83, yeah.
I got Steelers.
I'm going to take the Bengals. I think they lose by like 4. 28-24. Jacksonville and the Rams from London, a couple of 4-2 teams. I'm going to take the Rams. They're a 2.5-point favorite.
I'm going to take the Jags.
Jags don't play well in London. I'm taking the Rams.
Jags are always in London too, by the way. Yeah, that's right. Like they're like London's team. Shad Khan. He loves going over there. Raiders and Chiefs. Chiefs are a 12.5-point favorite in this game, but if y'all know, the Raiders always play them close.
I like the Raiders
to cover the 12. That's a big number in the NFL.
Yeah.
I do too. Big win for the Chiefs, though. Like we said, this is another good one. Eagles at the Vikings. The Vikings, a 1.5-point underdog at home. I'm taking the Vikings. The Eagles ain't lost since Drew Brees called them boring.
I'm taking the Vikings.
Colts at Chargers. Chargers are a 1.5-point favorite. Colts, they keep winning.
I like the Colts. Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
Yep, I'm gonna go there too. I think they win this one. Commanders at Cowboys. Cowboys are a 1.5-point underdog against Jaden and company.
I got Commanders.
I got the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think there's a lot of points.
I don't like it either. But
the Falcons have been on primetime like 4 times this year already. Sunday night, they go to the Niners. They're a 2.5-point underdog. I'm taking the Niners. I think the Niners beat them.
I'll take the Niners.
Niners go cover.
Yep, I think so too. Falcons also have been shut out by the Panthers, so who knows who's good in this league. The Bucks and the Lions, another good Monday night game. Bucks are a 5.5-point favorite in this game, or the Lions are. I don't know, man. The Bucks went there a couple years ago and beat them in the playoffs. I'm going to take the Bucks to cover 5.5.
I'm going to take the Lions.
I got the Bucks.
And then one more. Saints are at the Bears. 5.5-point favorites are the Bears at home.
I'm taking the Bears.
Dennis Allen revenge game. Mike says they're going to win by 6 or more.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all are going to make me do this. Saints are going to lose this one by 4, which means they cover. That's our show. Look, it's always a lot of fun. A lot goes on, man. It seems week to week we always have a big story. But should be a lot of fun in the area. Go check out a game starting Thursday night. Kinder's at Oakdale, Vinton at Pickering, Bolton at East Bow on Friday, Rose Pine up at Mansfield, Maryville's at Oberlin, South Bow's at Jennings, and in the game we will have for you the 104th time Battle for the Hooper Trophy, Leesville at DeRidder. That game will be right here on this station, 105.7, as well as KROK 95.7. For Mike Holt, Derrick Lee, I'm Sean Larken. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week.
KVVP Leesville, DeRidder, Fort Polk, today's country 105.